Welcome. This is an introduction to CapChain Logistics. It's an alternative to standalone logistics. It tends to be a little bit more effective when you have more than a single logistics ship in fleet. It's meant as a 5-minute tutorial for both experienced pilots who are new to logistics and inexperienced pilots who are new to EVE but would like to fly a logistics ship. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Osprey. It's a good starter logistics ship. It costs about 20 mil. You can see it has 30k EHP. It has a very unstable capacitor and is dirt cheap. Some magic starts to happen when we add a second Osprey to the mix. We can see that it reps about 1,000 hit points per second. It becomes cap stable with the cap transfer going, and down here we can see the projected effects from one Osprey to another. When you're in a pinch and you overload either the reppers and or the invulns, you can see that the defense goes up to about 13 to 1400 per sec. And last but not least, we have a generic Cyclone battlecruiser single adaptive invuln, and you can see the projected effects from the Osprey rep about 900 per second. Not bad for a 20 million ISK cruiser. Let's pull her out. Okay, we have a little bit of setup to do whenever we get into a new ship or a new type of ship. First thing that we want to do is our overview settings and selected items. You should probably have a fleet overview that has reds, a fleet overview that has blue and reds. For the Osprey, we want to set our keypad and our default orbit to 5,000. Any closer in our transversal velocity will drop when we're orbiting our anchor. Next thing that we want to set up is a logistic broadcast setting. I pretty much remove everything with the exception of broadcasts for shield and capacitor. If you're in a big fleet, you can keep the align to and things of that type, but there's really no need to have the targets broadcasted when you're doing logistics. Otherwise, you might end up repping the enemy, which no one really wants to happen. Hotkey setup. First thing is make sure you don't have auto target back on. You want to set up your hotkeys for broadcasting shield and capacitor. And last but not least, since you're launching logistic drones, set a drone engagement hotkey. Watch list is the next important item. The first thing on your watch list is going to be your repper buddy. This is another logistics ship that has a cap transfer, and you will be transferring cap back and forth to one another. In a trio configuration where you have 3 logistics ships, Adam reps Brian, Adam caps Brian, Brian caps Charlie, Charlie caps Adam. Add your anchor, add other VIPs, and we're off to engage.
Warp drive active.
When going into an engagement, make sure your hardeners are lit before you land. You can do it as you're entering warp, you can do it as you're leaving warp. Just make sure when you land your hardeners are already lit. One of the first things that you want to do when you land is begin orbiting your anchor. When we say engage, you see orbit anchor, capacitor, chain, and launch drones, rep broadcasts. This isn't a procedural order. You have to do pretty much everything at the same time, and they're all pretty much equally important. You can see me orbiting my anchor. Set up the cap chain with your buddy. Your buddy's in your watch list. You can control click on the watch list to target your buddy, and the cap chain begins. Next item, fairly important, launch your drones. And last but not least, take a look at your broadcast window. Any requests for reps can be controlled clicked. We'll see a request for reps coming up right now. Control click the broadcast, you'll begin targeting and get your reps on them. Once your reps are going, make sure your drones are out. Make sure your drones are on the person you're repping as well. When you're primaried, there are 3 things that you need to do in rapid succession. You need to overload your hardeners. You need to get your transversal velocity up, and you need to broadcast for shield. Shield broadcast can be done either via the hotkey or via the fleet window. You can see that we've broadcasted for shield here, and you should start receiving shield shortly thereafter. The one thing that you need to pay attention to in a cap chain ship is your capacitor. You have cap booster 800s, your medium booster only holds 1 at a time. Whenever you see your cap get to 33%, boost. If your cap is at 33%, something has gone wrong. Your cap chain is down, your buddy is not capping you. Keep your cap up. Don't let it drop below 20%. Aside from that, you simply pay attention to your fleet broadcast window, rep targets that require reps, make sure that you occasionally drop targets so that you don't exceed your maximum number of targets that you can have locked at any given time. And that is logistics in 5 minutes. Happy sailing.